Welcome to something to talk about.
Yeah, really loud.
Welcome to something to talk about.
Hi, welcome to Something to Talk About. My name is Taco, and we're going to cover Franklyn Flowers. This guy right here. Yeah, you guys know him. Do you know him? You might know him. Bastard of Cider Hall, captain of the Gold Cloaks, a captain of the Gold Cloaks, and the Brown Apple Fossaway, and just a good-looking fellow. Yeah, so I covered a song of Ice and Fire lore here. If you don't know what's going on, this is what's going on. Go ahead and check it out and do Game of Thrones stuff. Pause this, read this. Okay. All right, I'm in a weird mood. I'm in a goofy mood, guys. It's gonna get weird. It's gonna get nuts. You want to get nuts? Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and read the cards.
Simply read the cards. You're going to be wonderful, really.
Thank you, Russell. All right. I finally got a video for that. I used to just quote it, and I didn't know if anyone knew what I was quoting. All right. Franklyn Flowers, also known as the Bastard of Cider Hall, is a knight and captain in the service of the Golden Company. Did I say Gold Cloaks earlier? Franklyn is a big-bellied, shambling hulk of a man. I'm a little shambling. Definitely not a hulk of a man, but I do got a big belly. So I like the chubby knights. I got a thing for chubby knights because I'm chubby, right? So I covered Guy the Glutton Lost him before. I'm going to cover Franklyn Flowers, you know. Maybe I'll cover the Keg of Ale one day. I like the big bellied guys, man. All right. So I'm definitely not a hulk of a man, though, with a seamed face crisscrossed with old scars. His right ear looks like it was chewed by looks like if a dog chewed on it. Jeez. And his left ear is missing entirely. Wow. He wears a lord's ransom in a golden arm rings. 1 year for 1 year he has served with each, or whatever. One for each year he has served with the Golden Company. Man, I got there eventually. Yes, we've got a bunch of golden rings. They wear gold on. I'll get to it once we cover Golden Company, which is right now. So, yeah, the Golden Company. The Golden Company is a company of sellswords founded by one of Aegon the Fourth's great bastards, Aegor Bittersteel Rivers. You guys know who Aegor is, right? Like, he shows up in the comments sometimes. You guys know who Aegor is. He's really loved by my fans for some reason. I'm not really a Blackfire guy, and I'm definitely not a Maegor the Cruel guy, but I feel like I have a lot of Blackfire supporters and a lot of Maegor the Cruel fans in my chat, my comments, subscribers. You guys are all a little crazy, which, I mean, I understand. Like, I get the company I fit in. I'm a little crazy too. All right, a little weird. You want to get nuts? Okay. Where was I? The Golden Company is considered the finest, most. Oh wait, the current Captain General is Harry Strickland. No, not Strickland Propane. A different Strickland, right? Not. Is it Bud? Bud Strickland? Buck Strickland? Is it Bud or Buck? Oh my God, that's gonna kill me. Yeah, I had to pause it and look it up. It is Buck Strickland. All right, cool. I was right. One of the two things. Anyways, yeah, not that Strickland. The Golden Company is considered the finest and most powerful company in the Free Cities, with some considering them the most honorable. The men of the Golden Company prefer to call themselves a free brotherhood of exiles rather than sellswords. Despite the notorious unreliability of sellswords, the Golden Company is reputed to have never broken a contract. Their motto is, "Our word is good as gold." Well, their war cry is, "Beneath the gold, the bitter steel," which pays homage to their founder, you know, the bitter steel. The high officer display rude splendor. They have a lot of money. Like many of their trade, they keep their worldly wealth upon their person, including jeweled swords and inlaid armor, heavy torques, and fine silks. Many wear a lord's ransom in golden arm rings, which each ring signifying 1 year of service of the Golden Company. See, that's what I was talking about. That's what Franklyn Flowers has, the guy we're talking about. The fallen captain generals get their skulls dipped in gold to carry it with them when they finally go back to Westeros. Yeah, because these guys aren't just like random sellswords. Most of them are exiled knights in sons of exiled knights and grandkids of exiled knights. They're people from Westeros who still have all those customs, but they just can't go back to Westeros. And the majority of them, a very large portion of them, have grudges, huge grudges, and they want to go back and kind of kick in some heads. And they were founded by, you know, the guy who like pretty much started the first Blackfire Rebellion, convinced his brother Daemon Blackfire to, well, him in Fireball, but yeah, so to overthrow and start a rebellion. And then he started like the next 4, not the second one, but all the other ones. So Aegor's like, you know, it's in his blood. And then the Blackfires helped with a couple of them, and even helped with Melee's the Monstrous, which I have a video for. So yeah, that's, you know, you guys know how the Golden Company is. They want to go back home for violent reasons. All right, so let's talk about Franklyn. So the Bastard of Cider Hall. Cider Hall is the seat of the Red Apple Fossaways in the Reach. There's the Red Apple, and then there's the Green Apple. It is located near the confluence of the Cockleswent, nice name, and the Mander. So where 2 rivers hit each other. The castle is named after the alcoholic beverage, cider, because they have apples, right? How'd you like them apples? Franklyn claims that his mother was a washerwoman at Cider Hall who was assaulted, you know what I mean, by one of the Lord's sons. Due to this, Franklyn loathes the Fossaways. Franklyn knows Griff and remembers him from when he served with the Golden Company 12 years ago. You guys know who old Griff is, right? Because we're going to be talking about that a lot. Franklyn was knighted sometime after Griff left the company. Blackheart Simon Toyne was in charge then. Now he is just another gold-coated skull, and homeless Harry Strickland is in charge now. Yeah, I never say spoilers, but spoilers because this is all last book stuff. This is all dance stuff. And not only is this all dance stuff, but this is late in the book dance stuff. So yeah, Franklyn comes in way at the end of the series, and I got a lot of spoiler stuff for that storyline. So if you don't know who Aegon is, if you don't know who young Griff and old Griff is, sorry, but I'm going to talk about all that. So yeah, I hope that's okay. So yeah, meeting in Voluntaries. So John Connington is traveling with young Griff, who is possibly, see, I'm about to spoiler it, possibly Prince Aegon Targaryen, possibly. Sir Franklyn is present during John Conn's rendezvous with the Golden Company 3 miles south of Valenterres. There, the former Lord of Griffin's Roost, Halden the Halfmaester, and Prince Aegon arrive to meet their officers. They're going to go meet with the Golden Company, right? Franklyn Flowers meets John Conn at the gate. Where is it? Have they made you a captain, Flowers? So yeah, so that's what we're doing. So this chapter is the one I'm going to pretty much just cover 2 chapters. And I had to listen to him to write this, and man, I really like John Conn chapters. I'm not obsessed with John Conn like what, Quinn the GM? Isn't he a creator who just loves John Conn? I'm not obsessed with John Conn, but I do like those chapters. So how am I going to do the voices? How about this? I'll redo it. John Conn, I'm going to do like this. Then they make you a captain, Flowers, and I'll do Flowers like, yeah, oh yeah, like that. All right, cool. Got it. That's my regular Flowers. Hey. So that's how I'll do it. So jumping into it. Holden Halfmaester, possibly Aegon, fake Aegon, if you will, young Griff, and John Connington, who's old Griff, are all meeting at the gate. Start scene, right? Okay. Have they made you a captain, Flowers? Griff greeted him. I thought the Golden Company had standards. Flowers says back, oh, it's worse than that, you bugger. They knighted me as well. And then they hug it out, like they have one of those like it reminds me of like Han Solo meeting Lando, you know, you double cross a no good swindler, and then they're like yeah. Although Han he didn't know that they were doing that, but these guys do. Yeah, they hug it out. Franklyn tells John that he looks awful and makes fun of his blue hair. Yeah, because John Conn's pretending to be old Griff, right? And he's like got his hair dyed like a Tyroshi. He then greets Holden Halfmaster, asking if he still has that stick up his butt. Still got that stick up your butt? And then he greets John's, quote, squire, young Griff. Fake Aegon notices his bastard name from the Reach. And Frankie tells him about his parentage, he concluded he is a brown apple Fossaway. I can probably keep changing his voice. He then leads them to Strickland's tent for a war council. So homeless Harry Strickland, he's like in charge of everybody in this. So Franklyn Flowers is just the captain. This guy's a captain general, right? So they go into his big golden tent, and that's where the war council scene happens. Once in the golden tent, John Conn looked at the golden skulls and asked Franklyn which is Toyne's. So Blackheart Simon Toyne was the guy who was the captain general when John Conn was part of this when he first got exiled like 12 years ago, right? After pointing it out, and John Conn, a lot of John Conn chapters are trips down memory lane because that's it. We need a lot of exposition from him because we're learning about the storyline really late. So all of his chapters are like, I look at this and remember all the stuff that's important. And then I look over here, and then I remember more. So that's how a lot of his chapters go. I know, I just listened to him. Where was I? So then he goes in to meet the other captains after he looks at all the golden skulls. Franklyn introduces them to John, and homeless Harry is soaking his feet in salt water during the meeting. That's really cool. Griff goes on to reveal to them that young Griff is actually Aegon the Sixth, son of Rhaegar. Dun, dun, dun. The company already knows. Yeah, it's like this big reveal. He's like, you know who he really is? And then John Conn's like, well, he's no. And then they're all like they don't care. Like, yeah, dude, we know. Yeah, almost already told them. The company already knew. Harry told them when they turned down a contract to march on Marine. So they were about to march on Marine, but Harry knows that they can't. Because they have to eventually get young Griff over to Dany. Like, that's what their real goal is. So he's like, hey, we're turning down the first contract ever that the Golden Company's ever, like, backed out of because they already accepted it. And everyone's like, what? We can't do that. We're the Golden Company. He's like, all right, let me tell you who young Griff is. So he had to, like, kind of tell them to calm everybody down. Right. All right. They question why she remains in Marine and why she isn't. Hey, trust me, we're all wondering why she's not trying to take Westeros anytime soon. The discussions about how to meet up with Daenerys Targaryen and Marine, Franklyn suggests the land route. He's like, why don't we just take the demon road? But Harry replies that the demon road is death. He's like, yeah, no way. He doubts the hope that was put on Dany's was a bad idea. He's like, well, maybe we shouldn't have hope in Daenerys Targaryen, excuse me. So then Aegon goes, then put your hopes on me, young Griff says, and then he goes on to speak boldly. Why should I go running to my aunt as if I was a beggar? My claim is better than her own. Let her come to me in Westeros. So this was an idea he had when he was traveling with Tyrion, and Tyrion's like, dude, just go there and do it. And yeah, he's like, no, screw it. Tyrion was right. I'm the king. I'm the Mummer's dragon, dang it. They're gonna hold me up in the streets. To this, Franklyn Flowers laughs and he goes, I like it. Sail west, not east. Leave the little queen to her olives and set Prince Aegon on the Iron Throne. The boy has stones, I'll give him that. Homeless Harry asks if the sun curdled Franklyn's brains, which is pretty funny. He claims that they need Dany and the dragons and that there isn't any ships. Griff said there isn't any ships going east to Dany, but there are ships that go west. They all agree that they can just sneak into Westeros right now. Harry's is mad and that they won't have Dany's army. But they say the Aegon the Conqueror did it with less. He had less people, and Robert didn't even eat dragons. So they don't need dragons, and they already have a big enough army because the Golden Company is pretty big. They also say that Dorne and Friends in the Reach, quote, Friends in the Reach, will join them. Franklyn agrees, saying, so long as I can kill some Fossaways, I'm for it. Yeah, because he doesn't like the Fossaways. Because he's a brown apple Fossaway. They all swear to Aegon. Everyone gets on their knees. Franklyn tells Aegon, or takes Aegon around and introduces him to all of the boys in the camp. But still as young Griff, because Jon Conn's like, don't tell anyone who he is yet. Like, we'll reveal that once we're in Westeros. Like, all the captains know, but you don't have to go tell the cooks and everybody yet, right? So he's like, all right, cool. I'll still do it as young Griff. So, yeah. What happens next? Back home! During the landing of the Golden Company in the Stormlands, Franklyn takes part in taking of Griffin's Roost. So that's Jon Conn's John Connington, right? And he's from Griffin's Roost, which, I mean, this video isn't about Jon Conn, right? I mean, he's kind of he's the main point of view for both of the chapters that I can meet Franklyn in, but you know, he's got such a huge past before we even meet him in the books, right? So he's trying to take back Griffin's Roost, where he grew up, and his family's seat. Before it got shrunk, all the lands have been taken away. Now they're just landed knights, and they used to be really powerful lords. But yeah, so that's it. So this is a story of how Jon Conn, with the help of Franklyn Flowers, takes Griffin's Roost. So yeah. During the landing of the Golden Company in the Stormlands, Franklyn takes part in taking Griffin's Roost. Jon Conn thought he would lose 100 men taking it and taking the gate and taking everything, but he only lost 4. The woods had been allowed to encroach onto the gatehouse, so Franklyn used brush for concealment, leading his men within 20 yards of the gate before emerging to destroy the gate with a ram. Yeah, they didn't have to come up like a big field and everyone could see him. They were able to just like kind of walk right up to the gate almost and then just bam, go and attack it. The gate was closed but not barred, and it opened with the second blow. Bam, bam, and they were able to get in. The battle was over in minutes. Ravens quickly got dispatched by the castle, specifically the maester, but are taken out by the Golden Company's expert archers. In the yard, Black Bullock does most of this, by the way. He's like the main archer, right? Summer Islander with him. Where was I? By the, expert archers. In the yard, Jon tells Franklyn that they are to be more messages. So he tells or says that there can be no more messages. Yeah, stop. Get the ravens to stop. The next thing to come flying out of the Maester's tower was the Maester. So yeah, Franklyn Flowers goes up there and just defenestrates the Maester, if you will. And the Maester flaps his arms like a bird and then falls from the Maester's tower. Crazy. That was the last of the resistance. Jon then sent his men to gather the rest of the inhabitants of the castle, sending Franklyn to the kitchens into the keep. No one is to escape, Jon says, and Franklyn assured them that they won't. He's like, yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah, don't worry about it. During the Victor's Feast in the Great Hall, where they all just hang out and eat, Jon presides from the Griffin seat, while Franklyn shares the high table with Harry Strickland, Black Bullock, and the 3 Conningtons that are still alive. They don't last long. A couple of them are jerks, so they boot them off the table pretty quick. Franklyn is, well, I mean, they're allowed to be. They just had their home taken from them. Franklyn is present during Jon's war council in the castle. They talk about how the Golden Company has taken Greenstone, right? House of Estermont, or seat of House Estermont. Franklyn complains of how the Volantine sailors are letting the men off anywhere they land, right? Franklyn tells them about Aegon's willingness to lead the men. So yeah, Franklyn's like, Aegon wants to take charge. And then they plan to take Storm's End in 10 days by Guile. And that chapter actually ends really cool because Aegon, fake Aegon, whatever you guys want to call him, younger, goes up and he's like, hey, I actually like your guys' plan to take Storm's End. Let me lead. And that's how it ends. So that's it. That's what we got for Franklyn. Definitely going to be a big character in the next book, right? Because he's still around. That's where this whole storyline ends. We do know that they end up taking more things in Winds of Winter. I don't want to give any wind spoilers, but yeah. And then that's it. So we know that they're being rather successful right away. So let's read my last card. And yeah, not too much. I don't have too much for theories, just a tad bit of symbolism. I really, you can't get something for everybody, right? I couldn't find any notable theories about Franklyn. He is tied to, of course, fake Aegon and Jon Con stuff, right? All the grayscale stuff. Like, he's tied into all of that Battle of the Bells and Mummer's Dragon stuff, right? But he's not important in any of those things. He's just tied. He's definitely not important to those plots. There is some apple symbolism, like always when it comes to the Fossilways. Many different kinds of apples. And like Raymond was a green apple, right? And Stefan was a red one. And Derek was the bad apple. And Franklyn is a brown apple, showing us how there are many members of the House Fossilways in many different parts of the world and many different factions. And there are many different types of apples. That's all I got for symbolism, was apple symbolism. I know it's weak. There really isn't too much for Franklyn Flowers. But yeah, really cool character. I like Franklyn. I'm glad I got to cover him. What'd you guys think of Franklyn? And that's it. What's your favorite type of apple? I like yellow ones. What are they called? Granny Smiths? I don't know. I like big yellow apples, yellow and green apples. That's all I got. What do you guys think of Franklyn Flowers? And yeah, have a good one. Peace.